All right, gang, here we go live at NADA 2026 at the Auto Media Marketplace booth, hosted by iHeart Media Automotive. I'm so excited you're here for our afternoon live stream. I am here with my new friend, Don Moss, who's the Executive Director of Marketing at Mergado Auto Group. Don, thanks so much for joining me on the Dealer Playbook.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
I'm excited to chat with you because you have a lot of experience that I want to draw from. The first one is this. I know that you have worked in media. I know that you are a marketing professional and you have so much data looking at your dealer group. But the first thing I want to know is, what do you see from a media perspective that dealers should be considering as part of their marketing mix?
Oh, that's a great question. You know, I'll tell you something that I think a lot of times people overlook. Maybe it's brand safety.
Ooh.
Yeah, so, you know, we go quick to the ads and how to structure the right messaging. Sometimes we forget about how important it is to consider what that message is really saying about our company. Is it on point with our brand? Is there any considerations we should be making bigger than just did it get a click?
And so when you're looking at it, which is interesting because that is often what people can see. They can see the click, they can see the traffic, they can see the impressions, or what we typically call the vanity metrics. But from your vantage point, talk to me about the safety piece. What are you thinking about from the seat that you're sitting in?
Oh, wow. I mean, you know, the world's changing quick, but everything is recorded on video now. Everybody's watching video. We're spending hours scrolling and scrolling. And so it's natural for our teams to think, man, I gotta get in the mix. I gotta start making videos. In fact, the industry is encouraging every salesperson at every store. Only way you're going to be successful is you get on TikTok, you get on Instagram, you do these videos. And I don't know that that's wrong. I think that's probably right.
Sure.
The problem is, how do you execute that, right?
Right.
And I'm not just talking about the quality of the videos. I'm not saying, is my lighting right? Do I have the perfect camera? It's more about, am I saying something that makes sense, not just as a salesman, but does it make sense for the person that owns the building?
Right.
Does it match his values?
Right.
Does it match what the store as a group is trying to do? That's a fine line to walk for a young salesman who's just trying to make a car deal by selling some videos.
Oh my gosh, you're bringing something to my mind that I have not thought about in this way. You know, you drive past the billboards on the freeway that say, you know, Mergado Auto Group, family owned and operated for how many years, whatever it might be. And you go, well, why is that a USP? But now you're bringing something to my mind that I'm like, because this is a real person. This is a real family that really lives in this area. And the throughput here that I'm hearing you say is, we can't just be we have to be more thoughtful about what we're putting out there, because ultimately there is a real family.
You are so right about that.
Whose name we could be tarnishing.
Right. And they have mothers and wives and daughters, and they're involved in our communities. You know how dealers are some of the most philanthropic, community-involved businesses in our communities.
Right.
And then you pair that to the content that might be being created in their name.
Right.
And there's a real chance that it's not aligned, right?
And you know what's interesting about this is I've thought about this. You see a lot of trend content, drop it like it's hot videos on TikTok, and you got full-grown mid-40s men laying on the floor demonstrating what a four-wheel drive looks like. And what they may not understand is that they're actually doing that in the name of Mergado.
Yes.
And what is the implication of that? What is the downstream effect on brand affinity or whatever? So how do you position that properly? Is it, hey, no, we don't want you creating stuff? Or do you just have to be more intentional in creating, I don't know, standard operating procedures? Or like, how do you safeguard, really?
Yeah, that's a good question too. So probably the safest way to be absolutely safe is just to say no. We're not doing any of this.
Right.
But how short-sighted would that be? Right.
Ooh. Right.
So you can't say no. You gotta be very clear about what the expectation is. You got to applaud the effort. Hey, the fact that you've built the business that a whole bunch of young people want to get on the camera and promote on their own free will, that's a good thing.
That's great.
Well, why would you ever want to squash that?
Right.
You just got to help them understand that what you're doing reflects more than just you. And yes, you might actually get a car sale out of this. You might get a whole bunch of clicks and sell some cars. But what you don't always see is how many people just turned away and walked off, maybe even in disgust. Right? So I'm happy you sold a car. I'm happy you got 100 clicks. But what you didn't see was there's 10 families now that don't look at us the way they looked at us before they saw your video. And now they're going to go tell their friends and family.
Yes, which is the most powerful marketing.
Right.
Is that word of mouth, like measuring that impact. I had this conversation yesterday. I'm curious your thoughts on it. Somebody asked me, what is the most valuable metric you think people should be paying attention to? And I said impact, which also happens to be the hardest thing to measure. To your point, though, I'm feeling, maybe I'm feeling good. You've affirmed my my bias, but I think that is it, because how are you thinking about the ripple effect implication or impact of now even yourself walking into church on Sunday and everyone's looking at you like because you did that's a really weird thing. But in a digital age, when things are moving so fast, when it's almost become faux pas to not be on social, to not be making videos constantly, to not be using AI and getting lazy, how do you really advocate for this understanding of like, hey, because of all of these things, you're an ambassador for this business 24/7 now, in a world that's like, no, you pay me to be here from 9 to 5.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I do.
How do you reconcile that? What do you think?
You know, it's a fine line, because often the content is not even being created on the social accounts that we own, that are our names. Often it's being created on Donnie Moss, the car salesman sells cars.com. Right? Like, it's under a person's.
Somebody buy that domain. Right.
Somebody's their own account, right?
Right.
And then how as a business am I going to say what you do on your account? Well, the fact is I can, right? You're filming on our location. You're using our name brand. You're asking people to do business with, not you, with us.
Right.
Right. All that turns your personal account into our shared activity. Right?
It's sticky. It's like chippy a little bit. It's like,
it is.
what are your thoughts on enforce? Sounds so strong and so official, but I can't think of a better word. How do you enforce that without, like you said in the beginning, completely discouraging the fact that you have people that are willing to be ambassadors for your name?
Right. You know how anything goes. You can't get everything right? You're going to discourage some people.
Right.
Some people are just going to say, no, well, then if they won't let me do what I want, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
But I think most people are pretty logical. I think if you set them down and really take the time to teach them and show them the why. Look, we're not just trying to sell one more Honda Accord.
Right.
The owner's trying to buy 3 more Honda dealerships. And all this plays into that, right? I think if you can help people see that, most people are going to say, yeah, I get it. Thanks for explaining that to me.
Yeah.
I get it now.
Most communication. Well, and now I'm thinking of an adjacent lane, which is how much money we actually spend or invest. If it doesn't work out, it's spend. If it works, it's invest. But how much money we spend on an agency, perhaps, that then goes out and finds local celebrities to peddle a message, which message, depending, and I'm generalizing here, may or may not be a great reflection of your brand. So, for example, I think, oh my gosh, I can't believe, controversial topic of the day. The celebrity who is well-loved one week, who you've spent an exorbitant amount of money on, who 2 weeks later is caught up in a scandal, but you've already spent all of that marketing money.
Yeah, look, that's another real-world thing, right?
Yeah.
And not just automotive industry, every industry struggles with that.
Right.
If you tie your brand to someone else's brand, you're in the same boat now, and you're along for the ride wherever they're taking you. I think for automotive specifically, though, look, are there really all that many influencers out there that are really specific to automotive? There really isn't. So you're pushed to find people that are adjacent or maybe have nothing to do with
Sure.
automotive.
Right.
And I think that's where things get a little lost. I live in Miami. There is a lot of crazy content in Miami. It's just what happens in my neck of the woods.
Right.
And the crazier, the wilder, the more eyeballs on it.
Acceptable fashion options are vastly different in Miami than they are Dallas, Texas.
I think so. And look, that kind of activity gets a lot of eyeballs and a lot of interest.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean that that's the right fit for what we're trying to accomplish.
Right.
You've got to be able to decide, look, more than just someone that's going to help me get eyeballs. Is this person really going to help me either move my brand forward as an image? Are you going to help me be seen better in the community? Or when we all love perfect attribution, or literally help me sell cars and service?
Right.
I think that the latter is a little harder to do, but if you could at least say, is this helping me move my image as a legitimate member of this community in the right direction, then I think that's the right person you're going with.
From the seat that you're sitting in now with Murgado Auto Group, who needs to be included in that conversation from the beginning to make sure that we don't lose focus along the way when perhaps something might seem appealing and like, oh shoot, should we be doing that too?
You know, the easiest decisions are made by one person, right? But that's not very practical. If you're a one rooftop store, yeah, one person, the GM can make that decision. The owner can make that decision. As you get bigger and bigger and more diverse geographically, you've got to just establish really clear guidelines of this is what we are willing to allow, this is what we encourage, this is what we don't allow. And then you got to empower the leaders of that rooftop to know the standards and uphold them.
I love this because I don't think, and the audience knows, okay, I'm breaking the fourth wall. The audience knows that I don't say things I don't mean. And I genuinely think, Don, this is the first time ever on this podcast in over a decade I have ever had this conversation.
Wow.
And we're at NADA. Everybody's talking about AI. It's like, what's that song? And bingo, was it? But AI, was his name? You know, AI. We're talking about something that I've never talked about on this show before. And you're really surfacing for me how incredibly important this conversation is because of the far-reaching implications of it. Maybe you are a single point in a small rural town in Dog Lick, Nebraska. But you are an integral part of that community, and that reputation either works for you or it really works against you. And I just find so many businesses then are caused to overspend. They can't figure out why are my leads so expensive? Why are and is it because they just have to fire hose, not understanding that maybe 10 years ago something happened that wasn't addressed that is causing a brand equity problem for them?
For sure. Look, we sell cars and we know that there's some stigma to it. There just is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not starting at a level playing field. We're starting below that.
Right.
And we've got to shine a little bit brighter than other people just to get to level. And I think that has to be part of what we're thinking about as we're doing content.
Content at the speed of light is what's happening. But content, so we've talked about creating content for people in the stores, being brand ambassadors essentially 24/7. We've talked about having effective communication with them, which I love, by the way, because I don't see many leaders really discussing this angle that you've brought up, which is like, hey, let's talk about this. I'd like to explain to you the why from our organization's perspective, because there's probably a point of alignment in the middle. Like you said, they probably get it and go, yeah, okay, I get it. You're trying to. We've covered a lot of territory. My mind is spinning. I feel like there's a million more questions that I want to ask. I'm not going to grill you. I told you I wasn't going to throw you a curveball. I'm no Walter Cronkite for you young Gen Z listening. There's a reference you can go look up for some fun trivia after the show. What are you looking to the next couple years? What's on your mind that you're saying, hey, we really need to focus and pay attention to this as things begin to evolve and as we're looking to acquire more stores and increase our footprint and increase our impact? What's on your mind? What's the thought? What do we need to be on a lookout for?
Yeah, for us, and I think a lot of people can relate, as you're adding more and more stores to a group, you got to make things a little bit more simple. You can't keep bolting on more and more and more.
Wow.
The ability to have just a few less people in the conversation really helps putting it all together, right?
Yeah.
So for us, I think it's a matter of how do we build processes? How do we assemble the right collection of people to help us move the next step forward? The next step might be a really big step, which means it really needs to be a little less complicated, a little bit more boiled down.
Ooh, I love that. It's not a return to basics. It's enforcing a foundation. Yeah. I love it. Well, Don, see how quick this goes when you're having a good time talking about brand safety. I cannot believe it. It's seriously, I can't believe we've never had a discussion about this on the show. I'd love to have you back at some time because I have 1,000,001 questions. But until next time, how can those listening and viewing connect with you?
Hey, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. That's a great way to find me, Don Moss. Happy to talk to anybody. Love this business. Love talking to folks in it.
You're the man, Don Moss. Thanks so much for joining me on the Dealer Playbook.
Thanks, bro.
You're the man. Don't go anywhere. We've got more interviews coming up here live at NADA, the Dealer Playbook, hosted by Auto Media Marketplace and iHeartMedia Automotive. I feel like I got to do a little tongue twister, loosen the tongue a little bit to get all of that out. But I'm so glad that they brought me here. What a great group of people here live at NADA. That was Don Moss from Mergato Auto Group talking about brand safety. We're going to come back in just a minute. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for being here. By the way, if you have questions or you want to participate in the show, you absolutely need to leave me a comment. What do the Gen Z say? The Gen Z say, smash it. Hit the bell icon, 6-7, what all the crap they say, do it here at the Dealer Playbook live from the Auto Media Marketplace booth together with iHeartMedia Automotive. We'll be back in just a minute. Josh Negron. There are the things you can see on the live stream, and there's so much you can't see off screen. What you can't see is my assistant Paige saying, the next time we do this, Monster Energy drink needs to be our sponsor, which she knows. She knows me too well. She also knows, she's also thinking now, wait, Did I just volunteer myself to go and get Monster Energy drinks to be my sponsor? That's what just happened. We're going to be here in just a minute with my pal, Mackenzie Wiltrout from Stream Companies. Joining me on the show in just like 10 seconds. All right, gang, welcome back to this episode of the Dealer Playbook podcast live at NADA here at the Auto Media Marketplace booth together with iHeartMedia Automotive. I have my friend. People don't know this, that we've had lots of conversations. My friend, Mackenzie Wiltrout from Stream Companies. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for joining me on the Dealer Playbook.
Michael, thank you so much for having me. This is really an honor to be on your podcast.
Oh, shucks. Now I'm blushing.
What is my first NADA? I want to say that. So,
is it really?
Yes.
How's it going?
This has been so exciting. I've been having a great time. This has been amazing energy here this year. And over at our booth, we've had a lot of fun stuff that we're unveiling. So really just a banner couple of days.
I just got to say, by the way, Stream always has some of the best swag at NADA. I'm just going to say it. Stream and its affiliates all have some of the best swag, which I had to run to registration and pick up one of the exhibitor backpacks because tomorrow's shopping day, friends. Okay, I'm so excited to get into this. You have such a tremendous access to data, to innovation, to so many different things that you guys are building and working on, things that you've seen work. So I'm curious, with the market flooding and NADA flooding with new AI tools in 2026, what does it truly mean to find impactful AI?
This is a great question because if you've walked the floor here at all, and I know that you have, every other booth, maybe even every booth, has AI somewhere listed. So there is a flood of AI tools out there right now. But when it comes to the impactful AI, I think what sets the tool apart or the vendor apart is not even the tool itself, but still their focus on the human element of it and focusing on people and their pain points and problems and how they're actually going to use it to solve problems. And that is a question that I have heard at our booth, and I've heard it just kind of floating around, which is, how is this actually going to solve a problem?
Yeah.
I get that the AI knows that there are issues out there and it has access to data and it can point at things, but we need a little bit more than pointing in the year 2026 for dealers to move metal off the lots with AI in their arsenal.
What you're making me think of is, back in the day when we introduced websites, then all of a sudden we it was pitched as a solution, but it actually did create some internal friction because now we're like, well, now we need somebody to manage this website. Now we need, and look at how that's evolved. Now we need teams to manage websites. Now we need a whole department. Now we need, and my concern is, to your point, and I love this impactful, actually solving for something. How do we navigate that to make sure that we are actually solving a problem and not just creating a new one?
Oh boy, I have fielded that question quite a bit. Okay. And I always say the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
So you bring on a new tool, you're like, I've got this new tool in my belt here in my tech stack. I'm really excited. The AI, everybody's telling me it's going to solve all my problems. It's going to help me sell more cars, service more vehicles. It's going to do my taxes. It's probably going to solve all my relationship issues, all of these things, right? But at the end of the day, if you have the tool and then there is no reporting data after the fact that is actually showing you that the tool made a difference, there is no case study, then we have smoke and mirrors. So we always prize the data ahead of time, the data that underpins the AI, that comes before the AI. But I'm thinking about what comes after the flood and the data after the fact that shows that, okay, so this dealer was using this to build strategy, to build campaigns, to fill out their marketing funnel, and then to actually sell cars within their market. We need that reporting after the fact that shows that you have your return on investment. And to be honest, because we're still sort of at that genesis point, right? These AI are still so young. You know, they're like shiny little babies, right?
Yeah.
Still so young, which is odd to say about a machine, but it's a fact. We're still so early on in understanding what AI can do for us that, to be honest, we don't have that historical trail of data quite yet. But I think if you are really, really educated and you're working with a vendor who's selling you the AI that is also educating you and taking the time to teach you how to use it so you really understand and, to your point, don't need somebody on staff to manage it, you should be able to see your return on investment. And there should be numbers, there should be proof in that pudding that shows that this made a difference in your strategy from now to the before times, before you had the AI.
This is moving beyond technology in a vacuum. You know what it reminds me of? It makes me think of getting blood work done by your doctor, because you could work out and eat healthy. You could do all of the things, but it's the trailing data of 3 months history of blood work that's going to help you understand that full that loop back to the beginning that will then inform the things you do next to your, between that now and your next blood test.
Correct.
So how do we encourage that shift in a way that is palpable and not like a huge change management nightmare? Like, how do we move beyond technology and start diagnosing the shifts that we should make?
Again, I think it comes back to having people in the loop, in the process, working with you to understand what the AI is doing. I feel that this, something I've seen quite a bit is we're telling people, not us, other vendors are saying the AI is going to solve everything.
Yeah.
So they just put it into your hands with the under the misconception that it is self-driven. It'll be able to answer your questions.
It's going to lasso the sun, moon, and stars for you.
Exactly. Like, oh, it's an intelligence, so it's smart. It can tell you how you're supposed to use it.
Right.
That is such a misconception.
You're saying AI needs regular eye.
Yes. Artificial intelligence needs organic intelligence in order to drive it correctly and to understand your use cases. And that's another thing. I see so much like general purpose, one size fits all AI out there. And I'm not throwing shade at any of the big enterprise AI.
I'll throw the shade.
You know, our open AIs of the world or the Anthropics, but you get your general LLM, your standard chatbot, garden variety, which is what is mostly out there right now and what people mostly know or think of when they think AI. They are smart. They can do a lot. They're capable to an extent, but it's general purpose. They are trained on all the data, and when they have all the data to look at, they often don't know for this particular use case or this particular problem, I should actually be looking at that data set, or I need to maybe look over here. So,
and a worry of mine is, to your point about these, I love the garden variety analogy or phrase, because my worry with them is that they just affirm my bias in a vacuum. Like they're not challenging my thought processes. They're actually, I feel like they're seeking to understand my bias just so they can affirm it. And that's the context that they work with.
Well, Michael, to quote ChatGPT, you are absolutely right. They are the most obliging pieces of technology you could possibly have.
You bring up a great point, Mackenzie.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
The AI speaks out both sides of its robotic mouth, and that's a fact.
Right. Yeah, because I've been in threads that I've even tried programming, right? That when I'm like, I feel like I've given it all the information in the world that it needs to contextually help me. and it still just affirms my bias. And then sometimes I'm
Yes.
like, no, that's not what I'm thinking about. And they're like, you know what? Sorry for making that mistake. And then it just outputs the same crap anyways.
Yes, because you have to remember that these are enterprise products.
Right.
These companies are trying to make profit off of them. And so there is a sort of gamification of it. Like, I don't know if you've ever gotten into video games or anything like that, but,
Mhm.
you know, in the game world, systems are designed to make you want to keep playing. There's a certain grind involved where it's always dangling a carrot to say, keep playing, keep investing time in this. Perhaps there are microtransactions involved, and so keep spending money. AI being so obliging and wanting to just sort of agree with you is the same exact thing. It's a carrot that is dangling, saying, keep using me, you need me, especially if you're offloading some of your cognitive ability onto the AI and it's taking the place of things that you used to do yourself.
Right. This is interesting too, because to that point, we've got a comment here on our live stream. Landon says, can't tell you how many times I've had to handle all of that on my own because the owners didn't think it was important to invest in technology or having actual teams of people to handle those areas. And you're saying, well, yeah, because we don't even have a full understanding yet to be able to really get to the heart of our needs. Because
Yes.
just a blanket AI is not actually the need. It's a hype piece meant to get your attention.
It is. And again, it's dangling the carrot. It just wants you to use it, to talk to it. You know, not that it's sentient or anything like that.
Yeah.
Maybe. There's some disagreement about that online, but, you know.
Yeah. Well, when that time comes, I will tell you right now, I will not be producing episodes of the Dealer Playbook anymore. I'm going to be digging a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
And going to live for it. So, but this actually brings up something I want to ask you as we wind into our closing. What is Stream's vision for helping dealers avoid these technological pitfalls while still taking advantage of what AI can do well?
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
We are partners to our dealer clients. And that is a partner, whether you're somebody who's managing an account and trying to drive strategy, or we're providing technology. We're a partner in the technology too. So we're creating this AI that is very purpose-driven within our Orange OS system that is launching in 2026. And yes, it was built for dealers by people that understand dealers. But this is not going to be a scenario where we just say, have at it, go into the dashboard, play with the AI, let it solve your problems.
Figure it out on your own.
You know, we wash our hands of it. Never,
Sure.
never. We believe in people, in relationships with people. Technology is a part of that. And we believe in educating our clients, helping them strategize. The technology is there. That's something that helps them accelerate, something that empowers them and helps them take that strategy into their own hands. But at the end of the day, we are partners in technology as much as we are partners in marketing strategy. We're going to be a part of the process. There will always be a human in the loop to ensure that when you're using the AI, you're using it in a way that truly solves problems. And to your earlier point, doesn't just create more problems for you, either because you've bloated your tech stack or because you got your hopes up, or maybe even because there was bad data somewhere along the lines and you kind of were consuming it in a vacuum.
Ooh, the vacuum. I mean, the most dangerous thing in our industry for a couple of reasons. For those that forget to use it to literally vacuum up the burnt popcorn kernels off the showroom floor. But in this sense, can you tell I've been doing this for a while and just couldn't give two hoots, okay? Because it's the truth. But also the vacuum you're talking about, Mac, which is nothing worse than data analysis in a vacuum.
Oh my gosh. Very dangerous.
Very dangerous. What are some of the things that you see have happened as a result of data analysis in a vacuum?
It always kind of plays out. There's different circumstances, but I see it play out the same way. Is that over here we see a flashing red signal to our right. Could be some sort of signal that's coming up in the data. So we start looking over here, And we are so fixated on it, blinders are on. And so we are missing the holistic portrait that, that full picture of the data. If I zoomed in really, really close right now, I could just see your face, Michael. I zoom out, I see this whole showroom floor with all these wonderful people and these exciting booths. I'm getting the full picture there. Zooming in, you are missing out on so much. And sometimes when you're super zoomed in, you are seeing something that's flashing over here, but you may be missing other indicators over here that are actually very positive, that offset this negative to your right, or just something that tells a completely different story, right? So I think it's really important that we zoom out, we see the whole picture, the holistic portrait that the data is telling us. And frankly, I think AI is really good at helping us see that whole picture, because it can ingest all the data and it can respond and give it back to us very, very quickly. And frankly, that's one of my favorite things about AI, is to just get, all right, put all the cards on the table. Give it to me straight. I want to see everything, good, bad, and the ugly. And oftentimes we see the good over here and the bad or the ugly doesn't look so bad and ugly.
What is really standing out to me too is the ability then to see it all in front of yourself, the human filter, who can then factor in the nuance of the circumstances,
yes,
versus just kind of taking the AI's word for it. It's like, I got the analysis piece done quickly, but I need to ultimately be that filter set.
Absolutely. And hey, just remember too that sometimes we see those flashing red signals, and there's also an emotional reaction that happens. We know this. It gets to be a little bit knee-jerk.
I know, I'm Italian.
Yeah.
Is unavoidable.
Yeah, you know. So I think it's really important to have that sort of piece of technology in your arsenal that is emotionally unbiased as well.
Yeah, I love this conversation. It's something to think about. I love that, there is the opportunity here to partner with a company like Stream, who has such a vast data set that becomes the layer on top of the AI that actually drives the diagnosis to help make better decisions. As we close out, Mac, how can those listening or watching connect with you?
Connect with me on LinkedIn, Mackenzie Wiltrout. You can find me VP of Innovation at Stream Companies. You can connect through the Stream Companies website, or you can send a carrier pigeon. I am very open to meeting new friends.
How old school? This is only send the carrier pigeon when we're wanting to avoid Skynet. Okay, we at least have.
Might be in the year 2026. I don't know.
Mackenzie Wiltrout, thanks so much for joining me on the Dealer Playbook podcast.
Michael, thank you so much for having me. It's been delightful.
Isn't she the best, guys? Come on, isn't she the best? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
That was awesome.
Your last one.
No. All right, gang. Welcome back to this episode of the Dealer Playbook podcast, live from NADA here at the Auto Media Marketplace booth, together with iHeartMedia Automotive. I have one of my favorite people. Okay, the one and only Adam Marburger. Thanks so much for coming back and joining me on the Dealer Playbook.
Always like hanging out with you, my friend.
Dude,
Always.
you know what I love about you? You have the ability to articulate what you do in a way that not many people have. And it's not even the gift of gab, because I relate the gift of gab to like people that just BS.
Yeah.
You don't BS, you tell it how it is. But why it's inspiring for me, if I could just give you a genuine compliment,
Okay.
is because I love speaking with people who know what they know. And you know what you know, especially when it comes to finance and insurance, the whole process, dealership operations. That's what we're going to be talking about. I want to kick it off with this first question. With margin compression across the store, why does F&I become more important now, not less?
I mean, because we need to maximize. I mean, here, the F&I department, there's two things. A, it's a retention center. Okay, so a lot of people, I actually spoke on stage a little bit about this yesterday, is in the past, we used to look at F&I is, okay, let's stay compliant. We've got to do the transaction. We got to maximize the gross profit. But the reality is F&I, our job is to do those things, but we're to get our customers happily engaged in service so they come back and buy another car. It's so why is it important? Because of margin compression? Because we've got to pick it up in F&I and fixed ops. And it's more important right now because here, Disneyland's over. I mean, we're way past the COVID era, right? We're way past that. We're competing at a high level, and we've got to perform in F&I. And dealers are singing the same tune. I mean, I haven't met a dealer, right? Well, all of my dealers are really focused on F&I, but across the country, dealers are paying more attention to their F&I office now, I think, than I've ever seen ever.
Yeah. And I feel like, so this is true story. The last time I bought a vehicle, not too long ago, I built a deeper relationship with the F&I manager than I did the person who was supposed to sell the car. And the next time I went and bought a vehicle, I went right through the showroom floor and I just knocked on his window, and I'm like, I'm back. Do you still have all my information? I'm like, I want that one. And what I really appreciated is that he remembered who I was, despite being at a massive volume store, despite, selling 850 cars a month. He was like, hey, Michael, what's going on, bud?
Yeah.
And so I also think like the throughput of what I'm hearing you say is like, yes, I can get them into service. That has to happen.
Yeah.
But it's going to happen through relationship.
It is. It happened. Well, and another thing too, back in the day, we were given fancy word tracks and scripts. So you say this and I say that, and I say this and you say that, and you're just going to close. That doesn't work.
Right.
It's relational. People make decisions based on previous experience. People make decisions in the F&I office based on their previous transaction too. So what was that like? What was the F&I department like at their previous experience, right? A lot of times F&I people, we just want to get the customer in and out and let's get down the road. We need to slow down a little bit, get to know our customer, because objections are real, they come, but they're a lot easier to overcome when you build a relationship and you're selling based on what the customer truly needs and wants, right? It's about them and it's not about us. And if we can be relational in the F&I office, which a lot of us are now, we're going to get higher CSI scores, retention goes up, and guess what else goes up? Profit. We make more money when we care.
It's like this is the age-old thing. It's like money is the recognition that value has been received. You want more money, provide more value.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's what I'm hearing. So let me ask you this, because I know you're very involved in training.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine the number of dealerships that you go in who have similarities and then have similar downfalls. What are you finding from your vantage point through the lens of training is something that is often overlooked that can't be ignored anymore?
Well, okay. Wonderful question. And it's a very easy question for me to answer.
Yeah.
When I see a performing F&I department, let's talk about the ones that are getting it done. You got the culture, you got servant leadership throughout the house, You have defined processes. Those processes are held accountable. So back this up. Processes are not the sexiest thing to talk about. Just really not, right?
Yeah, right.
It's the most critical piece to the equation. So the dealers that are falling short do not have a written process, and it's not being held accountable. The stores that are winning right now are dialed in. The processes are duplicatable. They're trainable. They're coached on, and they're held accountable. That's what's overlooked, and that's what's missing in the stores that are underperforming.
Why are people afraid of accountability?
I don't know, because it stings a little bit. It really does. I mean, I have a coach.
Yeah.
Kind of afraid of her. You might know her, Danelle Delgado. That's my coach.
Oh,
I'm kind of scared of her.
oh, what's up, Danelle?
Yeah. You know, I'm a little bit, I'm not like, I am afraid of her, but I don't want to let her down. But so there's certain things that we do in groups that we are held accountable. We have a like-minded individuals that hold each other accountable. But it stings if you've never participated.
Are you saying that those beach visits aren't as delightful as they look in the pictures?
They are fun, but there's a lot of work. Hey, there is a lot of work there. But going to the accountability piece, it's just people don't like. It's sometimes unnatural. It's unnatural for some people to be held highly accountable.
Do you think it stems from just how we're all raised? Like some PTSD from like just being razzed by, like, I'm trying to get to the root cause of why are we afraid of it? Is it because are we afraid of change?
Yeah.
Are we afraid of success?
Yeah.
You know,
I think change is pretty uncomfortable for most, right? Change is uncomfortable for most. And a lot of us too have bad experiences. So like I started in 1999. So
yeah. Well,
I
where's
didn't
all
know-
your gray hair, dude?
I've got it in the beard. It's good. You'll see. Give me 2 days. You'll see a lot here. But you know what? There's a lot of us that have been victims of having bad managers, right?
Sure.
Drill sergeants, mean. And so that right there can rub people the wrong way. But then when you get the right one, I ran into the GM. I pulled him aside and introduced him to one of my business partners. I haven't seen John. His name's John Aronson. He doesn't live on social. He probably doesn't listen to podcasts, but I will tell you right now. I pulled him aside and gave him the best compliment ever. I said, John, I speak on accountability all the time. You held me accountable at the highest level when I was a rookie F&I manager. And without you up my, all the time, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I want to thank you for that. I thanked him sincerely because without him, it wasn't like it was micromanaging. Yeah, he was a micromanager. There was no question. But he loved me and he cared. He wanted what was best for me. And so he made sure I did what I was supposed to do.
Is it one of those things where you either have the right mindset or you don't? Like I just think of like what separated you at that time, because I know your story. I know the things you've recovered from. I like it, which is inspiring of its own case. Yeah. But what was it in you at that time that you were like, despite being micromanaged, I'm not going to use that as an excuse to not put any effort in?
That's a great question too. I will tell you, in my 20s, I didn't like the accountability.
Sure.
And I didn't appreciate the accountability. And I didn't respect the accountability. In my 30s, I grew up. I think life events, you kind of touched on life events, having kids, getting a little bit older, you grow into appreciating the accountability as you age, I think. That's what happened to me. My story, in my 20s, I was too immature and wasn't ready.
Yeah.
And then as I got a little bit older, I look at things a little bit differently. And then as you get older, some of us take on more responsibilities. Yeah. So when you're managing more and more people, you understand. Now you look back and go, oh, now I know why John did that. Oh, that makes sense to me why he was so hard on me in this area, because he saw something in me. I didn't have that many people back then that saw in me what he did. That's why he had his thumb on me like he did.
Yeah, it was actually a play of love, not micromanaging.
Yeah.
Like he saw something in you and he's like, well, I know what it's going to take. So I'm going to it's almost like, when you got when you're trying to make a man out of your teenage boy and you're like, bro, you got to man up.
Yeah.
Like, it just is what it is.
Yeah.
And all of the parenting advice out there written by people who have never had any kids, by the way, never say man up to your son. What do you think it's like, dude, no, because I need him to understand that the way he's behaving right now is not becoming of a man.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody debate me on this until you're blue in the face. You're not going to change my mind.
No, I agree with that.
But with being a man comes great accountability. And I was thinking about this as you were speaking. I mean, acceptance. It's the hamster's moving, Adam, I promise. acceptance of not liking your current circumstances is a motivator to why you would want to change.
Damn right.
Like, you're like, wait a minute, I hate losing all the time.
Yeah.
You know, so like, I've been doing blood work now. You know me. You've known me for a while.
Yep.
You put a lot of work into getting in shape and
You look great.
losing and all this kind of stuff. Oh, shucks.
You do. You look
Well,
great.
but it was the blood work that held me accountable.
Yeah.
It was like, no, let's give you the data on what you need to do. But because I was so unhappy with my current state, I paid attention to it. The accountability became a motivator for action, because I was so unhappy with my current state. And then that led to the ownership you were talking about. I had to take ownership and say, well, but look, for 20 years, I put effort into not taking care of myself.
Yeah.
Now I have to own that. There's no way out of this mess other than owning it and taking accountability.
You know, I think there comes a time in your life where you just, for me in my story, you get to a place where you get sick and tired of yourself, and you get sick and tired of the BS that you feed yourself to.
Right.
Because there's nobody that can BS than yourself, right? It's easy to BS yourself. And it gets to where you're like, you know what? I'm sick and tired of this. Something has to change. And I can relate to that at a very high level.
This kind of leads me to the next thing, though, because I feel like in an effort to avoid accountability, to do the things that truly matter, we start looking for new tools. We start looking for new AI. We start looking for all the new things. So what are you seeing from an F&I perspective when it comes to new tools, new AI, new this and this? Is it avoidance? Is it looking for a shiny object to solve real problems? Like, what are you seeing from your vantage point?
Well, AI is a word we're all throwing around nonstop.
It's annoying.
It's getting annoying. Now, I am an investor in an AI company in automotive.
Me too.
And I will tell you that this certain company, this is not a shiny object. This is something that the big publics are embracing. The massive dealer groups are using this auto tool. And what it does, what's really cool, and I'm not going to overly endorse it, I'm just going to go baseline here.
Yeah, sure.
It allows us to put our process into the AI tool. So our process is into the tool. This tool records transactions. It tells us when F&I people skip steps. It tells us when F&I people get a cash deal 5 minutes before close and we don't do a customer interview and we don't do a menu. So from a coaching standpoint, it gives us the ammunition to say, oh, it grades this F&I person needs help here. This F&I person needs here. So a lot of dealers are embracing the AI from an F&I standpoint. And here's another thing too. These AI tools, now of course, I would love to be in every store every single day training, but you can role play live with the AI tool. Real world scenarios. So it's pretty sexy and I'm really, really excited about it. I'm not on the AI bandwagon. Well, I kind of am. I'm not trying to change the world with AI.
But you've moved through shiny object to impactful AI.
No, we were using it. We're getting almost a $400 lift in F&I PVR with the tool. $400 a transaction.
What?
We have the data. $400 a transaction. So yes, I've adopted it. I've embraced it, and we are holding it accountable as an agency right now.
I love this. Okay, so as we move into my last question, what I want to know then is, for the dealer principal, the general manager, or sales manager listening to this, if they were going to make one adjustment to start seeing to protect margins, what's that one shift that they should be implementing in their store right now?
The shift to protect margins is to invest in the human capital within the four walls of the store. Protect your good people. Look to turn those that can't be turned. It's all about your people. Coaching and mentorship on a never-ending basis. I'm telling you, I see a lack of real coaching. It's got to be. It's the investment that we make into our human capital is going to change everything.
This resonates. I had our CTO on. Of course, we're heavily invested in some AI stuff, and he said one of the greatest misses would be investing in our skill sets. Like, human skill sets still need to be developed. Yeah. And this kind of resonates. you're saying something that's adjacent to that. You're saying, yeah, invest in your people.
Yeah.
You need to invest in your people.
Yeah, because if you don't, someone else will. Fact. I wake up with the mindset every day, Michael. Somebody's out there wanting to take everything that I have. There is somebody out there that wants, I've got some wonderful, I don't call them employees, partners, teammates. There are people that want my team.
Of course.
And I'm not allowing that to happen. So I'm going to pour into my team and love my team on a never-ending basis. And it's not just by bonuses and gifts and trips. It's pouring into them with real mentorship and guidance and leadership.
You will be a better person as a result of this machine versus, going through life on your own.
Amen. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Dude, Adam Marburger, how can those listening and watching connect with you?
Just find me online, Facebook and LinkedIn. I'm kind of, LinkedIn, Facebook, I'm pretty easy to find, and I respond to everybody. So
this is my pal. You see why I love this guy so much? Thanks so much for joining me on the Dealer Playbook.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
You're the man.
Yep.
All right, gang, welcome back to this episode of the Dealer Playbook podcast live from NADA 2026. We're here at the Auto Media Marketplace booth. That's fill the diaphragm together with iHeartMedia Automotive. I have my good pal here, Christine Lentz, the product operations manager at Urban Science. Thanks for joining me. I'm so excited we get to do this in person.
I know. This is the funnest thing ever.
What in the world? Okay. Can you believe it? It's like when you only get to talk to people online, we're all Mozart. We're all from here up. So it's like, oh, good. You walk.
I'm a real person and you're real too.
Person. Okay. I want to get right into this with you because there's so many things that I want to pick your brain on. The first one is when dealers hear the word defection, they often think failure. Why is this the wrong way to look at it?
So first of all, I think they need to know what defection is.
Tell
Some of them
me.
say deflection, defection. So let's break that down first of all. So all dealers, they're working a bunch of leads. And this is a collection of leads that is in their CRM that they're probably still following up with that's actually purchased elsewhere at a competitor. So that's a defection as it is.
Right.
And why they need to know about this is, right, I think the first thing is knowing about what a defection is. The second part is really, what are you going to do about it? And what you're going to do about it is you need to, first of all, know from Urban Science. Urban Science has something special. So I know everyone says that, but we really do. And so I always say, everybody give us a minute. Let us tell you. We have our data hub. And what it has is we have sales data that we get every night from all the major OEMs. So that's exclusive to us. You know, we're not looking at data that's 30, 60, or 90 days old. This is a lead in your CRM that purchased at a competitor yesterday.
Wow.
So that's really the huge thing about what Urban Science can provide you. That's nowhere else, right? These are exclusive contracts we have with the OEMs. And so when you have that, you're able to see Sally Sue, it's a name I always make up. Sally Sue's in your CRM.
Do you have a voice for Sally Sue? I'm sorry, I have to ask.
I don't, but maybe I could make one for you.
By the end of this show, we're going to have a voice for Sally Sue.
Sally needs a voice.
She needs a voice.
And I thank you for advocating for her because she is always here with us.
And so you're getting the sales data. It's exclusive to Urban Science.
Yes.
You brought up, okay, well, what do we do with it?
Yes.
What do we do with it?
What do we do with it, right? We need to find out. So when we know these people have purchased elsewhere, and it happens for a couple different reasons. So the first reason, right, it could be price, inventory, And then what we do with it is we can actually start breaking down those processes and understand where that leak is. So we break it down by sources. So there's sources that you might think, hey, these are, not great. We don't even do anything with these. We throw those leads aside. We'll show you, hey, are these people actually buying? And do I need to have a follow-up process for this that is better to actually, demonstrate what is going on with there? And it's actually a good lead source, which I will tell you, I've had dealers, when they start with us on Traffic View, that's when they can break it down and actually see everything in there. They'll say, cut out these lead sources. Don't even show me them. I don't even want to know about them. Like, I just want to see what the real meat and potatoes is. And I always tell them, like, give me a minute. Let me show you. Let's just look at it all the first month, right? And then we'll dive into it, and then we'll see there's a huge percentage of these leads that actually are purchasing in their they're living in their backyard, purchasing at a dealership farther away from them, which is crazy, right?
Which is interesting because, often we'll hear about the pump in, pump out report. Where is the defection happening? But it's such a limited piece of information because it's just numbers on a map. And we're like, oh, shoot. Well, people on the fringe of my primary market area actually bought from one of my competitors. And sometimes it's like, yeah, because they were actually closer, even though they were technically in your primary market area. So my question for you is, with the information that you're able to see, with the data you're getting nightly from all of the OEMs, what changes when dealers can actually see where and why defection happens versus just a kind of an ambiguous number?
One of my favorite things that we show in our solution Traffic View is days to sale. This is always one that makes sales managers, fall out of their chair. But we know that the follow-up process with salespeople isn't usually as long as we want it to be, right? And so what we can break down is we look at a lead from the day it comes in all the way to day 90, right? And then we can see when you've made your sales on that chart, when you lost sales to same brand, and when you lost sales to competitors. And so when you match that with your sales process, you can say, okay, we typically, drop off at day 5. Everybody wants to say we reach out forever, right?
Yeah.
But let's be real, you don't reach out forever. And maybe your salespeople start dropping off a little bit, day 3, day 4, whatever.
Yeah.
And then we can see a spike. It's like 8 to 14 is usually the sweet spot of when defection is just huge. And so it really can help you to understand, maybe, everyone's talking about AI. We're at NADA right now.
Yes, please tell me.
So AI is I think I've heard it 9 million times today.
Just,
yeah, maybe just, but it has been crazy. And so when we're implementing these tools, AI is great when you know when to use it. And so that days to sale chart, like I was telling you, you need to know what days that automated AI thing needs to jump in order to actually fill those gaps, right? We know salespeople are getting tired. They don't need to reach out 9 million times, but give the tools an actual timeline that's going to make sense and going to make a change.
Well, that's great. If anybody's wondering, there was a backpack left here 2 hours ago. He defected from his backpack, and now we know why.
Yes.
Okay, this is super interesting to me. I've been taking a few notes.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, AI 9 million times a day. What to do with it? Where do we actually inject this? Because here's my worry, Christine.
Yeah.
People are like, yeah, you know what? If I'm being honest, I do only follow up for 3 days, and I'm losing so many opportunities. But I can only imagine your data is showing us how much people actually would appreciate if you tried following up with them longer than 3 to 5 days. What are you seeing?
Yes, that is totally true. The personal touch of it and the relationship building aspect is always going to be important. There's never a time, I believe, that we're not going to need that. AI is amazing, and it's supposed to be our partner. I don't think it's supposed to be our replacement, right?
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? It's not meant to be our replacement. Do you think a time's coming? This is our off-brand question. I mean, do you think there is a time coming when it will replace, or what's your view on the human experience as a part of this whole thing?
So I've worked in multiple different parts of our company. I've been here now at Urban Science for 6 years, and I've had 5 different roles there.
Wow.
In that time.
Yeah.
They have been too good to me. And I started off on our support team. When you call into us, you actually talk to somebody that's real every time. When you chat into a person, and I can't tell you how many times people just start spamming us and we're like, no, I'm here.
real.
I'm real. Say
And
hi
it's
to me.
9:30 at night and I'm trying to do a piano lesson.
So, but how much relief they have when they're like, somebody hears my concern and someone's going to do something about it. And sometimes you just need to vent to somebody about it.
Sure.
And be an ear.
Is that the empathy thing, you think?
It is. Yep. And then you can give it to AI to solve. You don't
Can't believe
have
I
to
just
do
said
everything.
the empathy thing. Yes, you
The
don't have to do
empathy
everything.
right?
So AI
That
is
little
good
thing.
for some things,
Yes.
but when push comes to shove, what I'm hearing you say is there is something inherently comforting
Yes.
about knowing someone else, some other autonomous figure is actually
Yes.
hearing me out.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. And everybody wants to have somebody empathize with them, wants to have a conversation. And like I said, sometimes you just need to vent it out and say, Michael, I am so upset about today. Let me tell you about it for 20 minutes and then go and solve it for me, please. And come back with a response that's going to help out my.
What's the biggest fear you see with dealers who now have access to defection data? They understand the why and the what. What's the biggest fear they're expressing to you?
So fear, I think the fear comes at the beginning, even before they can see the defection data. Once we get people in to actually look at the data, it guides them to results so quickly that there's not much fear. But I think it's the ego in some of that. It's hard to say, and I always say I compare it to a test. It's like after you fail the test, you don't want to look at it because you're like, I know what I already heard that I failed, right? I don't want to see all the answers I did wrong.
Right.
But you need to know that. And that's what's going to help you to win tomorrow. When you realize, hey, it was question B and, I didn't, study long enough on this subject. It's the same thing with those leads, right? If you didn't follow up long enough, or I didn't have enough of that information, I didn't make a connection with this customer. We need to diagnose that in order to do something different tomorrow.
You're making me think of something that I heard once, which I love the perspective, which is that there's a real fear of being too aggressive, but then there's this mindset, which I really appreciate, which is it would be a disservice to you, the customer, to not get to experience working with our store.
Yeah.
It would be a disservice. That's the biggest issue. What's your take on that?
So I have a great take on that, but what I would say actually is I think of defection as at the end of the sale.
Yeah.
If you put yourself in the customer's shoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you've already purchased elsewhere and I keep telling you, hey, come check out this new vehicle. You're like, leave me alone. Get off my back.
Get away from it.
Stop bothering me.
Right.
And so if I continue to do that, defections is going to open that door for you to say, hey, this person has purchased somewhere else. Let me stop wasting energy on them. Let me stop bothering them. And what some of our customers who have really made some success here is they've switched to service. And so then they can say, hey, I'll give you the first, 2 oil changes for free if you come to us. We know that we're closer to you because this is the kind of information we can give you with our defection data. We know that you live maybe closer to me. And I know that you just bought the same brand. We can service you. Come in for your first 2 services for free. And then we can start building that relationship, right?
Yeah.
Then you're like, hey, I trust you. I'm a real person. You came in.
This is something.
And we rebuild.
Yes. Oh my gosh. This is something that I've been thinking about so much lately. And you're striking a chord, Christine Lentz, which is the driver of all of the conversations tend to be around variable operations. Fixed operations can be a real reactivation driver.
Yes.
It can be an acquisition driver. It can be, oh my gosh, it can be the thing that drives people right back into variable. And so you're bringing this up and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is an unlock people need to be paying attention to. Fixed is not the awkward step sibling.
Yeah.
These 2 departments need to really work hand in hand. And if I'm hearing you correctly, tell me if this tracks. You can use fixed ops as the reactivator.
It is, yeah. And that's how you continue that relationship. I think defection doesn't mean goodbye forever. It doesn't mean that this is a total loss and it has to be doom and gloom and sadness. But it is if you don't do anything about it.
Right.
If you take that action, you do something with it, you learn for the next time, and you connect with them, that customer again. We've seen tons of our customers do this, and they actually are building back sales, building back relationships, and even surveying through that time, right? So they say, hey, you came in for that oil change. Maybe this is the third one. Hey, well, how did we lose you? And then they're actually getting real answers from their customers on like, your salesperson didn't even answer what I was asking them, right? Or, hey, they, didn't answer my call and I needed something, right? So I went to this other store instead and they answered right away and I got what I needed. So all of those things can come in, and the more information we have, the better we can do.
Data activated human response.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I can't
take
believe
out
it.
the human part.
Can't take out the human part. This has been so delightful. How can those listening and watching connect with you?
So you can connect with me on LinkedIn. My name is Christine Lentz. And then you can also connect with Urban Science. We have our own LinkedIn page, and you can also go to urbanscience.com.
Christine Lentz, thanks so much for joining me on the Dealer Playbook podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to see you.
Isn't she the best, guys? Come on. Here at Auto Media Marketplace and iHeart Media Automotive, the Dealer Playbook Live with Christine Lentz. We'll be back in just a few minutes with our next interview. Don't go anywhere. You know what you should do instead? You should stand up because you've been sitting at your desk a little too long, and you should just have a little dance party to the music. All right, gang, here we go. Another episode of the Dealer Playbook podcast live from NADA at the Auto Media Marketplace booth together with iHeartMedia Automotive. I'm delighted to be joined by my new pal, Ross Darren from Televisa Univision. How did I do?
You did well. You did
Okay.
well.
Thanks so much for joining me on the Dealer Playbook.
Thanks for having me, Michael. Great to be here.
Okay, we were just chatting pre-show a little bit, and you said a couple of things that blew my mind, and we have to get, for your safety, we have to get right into this. Okay. Obviously, looking through the lens of Spanish-speaking America, is that fair to say?
That is very fair.
68 million Spanish-speaking
Speakers in the U.S.
Holy crap! Break
and
that
growing.
Break that demographic because they're the ones having all the babies. Is that why?
Yeah, it's really the largest growing demographic. You look at census data; they're really driving the growth across so many age groups. What's really interesting, why it's exciting to be here, why it's exciting for auto, Michael, is the Hispanic population is also a decade or more younger than their general market counterparts, right? So think about that in terms of life stages and conducive in terms of the long-term value of a customer.
I was going to say that, like, the immediate impact on lifetime value. If I build a relationship with this audience in an authentic and real way, I have more opportunity. You know, they might only be on their second of 8 vehicle purchase or 12 vehicle purchase in their lifetime, and I have a real opportunity here.
Correct. And you're starting earlier. You said it. If you connect with them in a meaningful and authentic way, the trust factor among the U.S. Hispanic audience is multiplied. Again, when you reach out in an authentic way, in language, surrounded by really the important sort of cultural cues and culture points that are important, like family, like food, like gatherings, like celebration.
Yeah. What I've found, and I say this, everything I say is with love, okay? What I've found coming from a European background, in particular, Italian, Portuguese, is how tightly knit that community is and how much faster positive press travels through an entire community. Like, they really, the Italian Portuguese community really believe when another Italian Portuguese person has a good experience somewhere, and I'm telling you, the community shows up and converges on that place to get the thing.
It's so true. And, you know, these major decisions like buying a car, they're family affairs.
Right.
So you need that sort of inherent trust. You need to bring in and develop relationships with the entire family that's coming in to make one of the most important and possibly expensive decisions in their, you know, recent lifetime.
What do you find is the reason potentially that this audience gets overlooked?
I think, look, I deal with this every day, you know, on the street in sales. I think there is this misnomer, almost myth, that you can reach this audience elsewhere. Excuse me. You can reach this audience on English language media. Yes, there is a growing bilingual Hispanic population, but it's reaching in language and in culture that is really going to move the needle. That's going to develop that relationship. And there is a large portion of this audience, of this community, of this population that really only consumes en español, right? And that's where you need to reach them.
Something I think is interesting here is the data that you have access to. These statements that you're making that are quite absolute in nature are merited based on data. You have something called household graph. Tell me a little bit about that. Why do we need to know about it? Why should dealers know about Univision's household graph?
So look, I get excited about this, and it's people almost tease me because how excited can you get about data? But in this case, it really is. Thank you. It's so relevant. You know, we built this identity solution probably 5-6 years ago at this point. We looked at all of the third-party data out there, and we're here at NADA, and there's third-party data entities all over the place, like Polk, who are fantastic, that we use. So I sort of, you know, give that backhanded compliment before I bash them, but then I bring them back into the conversation and talk about how relevant they are, Michael. But we looked at all of this third-party data out there. You ready? And we found that a majority of U.S. Hispanics were excluded from third-party data sets. So we said, okay, there's got to be a better way. We've got to mitigate this misrepresentation in third-party data. And we built this household graph, our first-party identity solution at Televisa Univision.
Something I'm thinking about is perhaps a layer of ignorance. I'll say this, you don't have to say this, which is the variety of Spanish speaking people in this audience. Colombia, you know, Argentina, Dominican Republic, Mexico. Like, this is a big audience. Are there similar threads to these demographics? And if so, what are you finding works really well? And maybe what are some of the subtle differences that from a marketing perspective we should be paying attention to?
Yeah, look, dialects are important. Understanding the fabric of the communities, right, that we're serving, that we're trying to reach and bring in audience on behalf of our clients and tier 3 advertisers is really important, right? So sort of speaking the way that they speak, the way that is comfortable and familiar to them. Culturally, you know, we see a lot of similar connective tissue and all of those really important cultural cues that I talked about, like the importance of family and gathering and food and celebrating. So as long as we really focus on what's important culturally, you know, usually the language sort of is the easy part that we could weave in. And, you know, then activating and leveraging specific personalities who really have this inherent trust with the audiences and local markets is another way to weave in, again, those nuances of, is this a more Colombian or Dominican or Puerto Rican or Argentinian or Brazilian population, et cetera.
It's like what I'm hearing you say is speak to what unites us. Everybody can relate to family. Everybody can relate to good food, gathering, wanting to be around each other. And so you can really use the data on this audience that you have to craft messaging in a position that speaks to them at the heart of the things that they care about.
That's it. For us, it's all about reaching the right audience with the right cultural cues, in the right language, in language as we call it, in language and in culture, to make sure that we're ultimately delivering on client KPIs and bringing an audience into, in this case, a tier 3 rooftop that is spending their hard-earned money on trying to reach an audience as efficiently and effectively as possible.
Okay, so we've talked about household graph. We talked about how large and growing this audience is. We've talked about the importance to speak to them about the things that they care about. What are you seeing from a dealership perspective, or any ideas you have from a dealership perspective? Maybe there's a dealership out there that's been thinking about this and it's important to them and they're like, yes, we need to do something. Where do they start? What should they be considering this year?
Look, I think we talked about the importance of leaning in on reaching a Hispanic audience in language and not sort of buying into the myth that you can reach this audience elsewhere, that you can buy around Spanish language, because to your point, Michael, maybe they don't know how. You know, Univision is also lucky enough to be the largest Spanish language media company and the largest, you know, TV, radio, digital streaming. So it's probably not hard to find your nearest Televisa Univision rep, right? There's my plug of the day. But really do the research, understand the demographics and what makes up the market and the DMA and the sort of PMA that you're representing, and just figure out the best way to really lean in and reach this audience in a meaningful way.
I love it. As we start to wind down, this is your first NADA ever. Did I hear that correctly?
Is that wild? My first NADA.
That's wild. Have you been in the auto industry for a while? And if so, how the heck have you avoided this?
How have I avoided this
Reveal
trip?
your secrets.
Right? We all wish we could. This has been, it's overwhelming, but in the most incredible way, learning a ton. No, look, I've been at Univision now, lucky enough to be here for 14 years, right? Love everything that we do. We're a mission-driven company. And by the way, the alignment with Auto Media Marketplace, the booth that we're standing behind is really sort of comes alive in making our inventory and all of our friends in the sandbox available here in a sort of meaningful turnkey way.
Yeah.
But as much as I've been involved in audio, right, it's just I've managed to not make it to this event, and that stops this year. I'm already looking forward to next year, hopefully standing next to you.
I was going to say, though, you look really happy. And that 14
well, we
years...
are in Vegas.
Okay, fair. Touche. I mean, you've really opened my mind here. Tell me one last thing I'm curious about. The distribution, the availability. You said reach out to your nearest Televisa Univision rep. Distribution across different markets. You know, if I'm a rural dealer in Joplin, Missouri, is there access there? Are you more prominent in places? Or
there's access. Look, there's a map of high density Hispanic populations and markets and DMAs that make sense, right? From a Univision local media standpoint, right? The entity that really weaves into the fabric of the communities that we serve, where we also own TV and radio stations. That is a map that you might find typical with New York and LA and Texas and Chicago and Atlanta and Miami, of course. But as it relates to streaming and digital, right, and some of the products that are just highly represented and relevant at an event like this, what I say is plug in your favorite CTV device and find and download the VIX app. And that's really where we're able to find our audience in every nook and cranny of this country.
I love it. You heard it here directly from the source. Ross Darren, I have to say it like this, from Televisa Univision. I just had to.
Well done.
It was like an itch I had to scratch. How can those listening or watching connect with you?
Like email and phone number? Are we doing this?
If you're comfortable doing it, or LinkedIn, whatever you're most comfortable with, man.
That's so funny. Look, I'm happy to help anybody. This is what I love to do. Outreach, education. I'll be your resource. So Ross Darren is RDARON at televisaunivision.com. The absolute best way to find me.
Love it, man. Thanks so much for joining me on the Dealer Playbook.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate you.
Look at this guy, a pro. I love it. A natural.
Thank you, man.
I'm almost tempted because he's got all his credentials right here. If you can screen grab that, boy, oh boy, are you ahead of the game. Look at that. We're here at the Auto Media Marketplace booth together with iHeartMedia Automotive. This is the Dealer Playbook Live. We're going to come back with a special guest in just a minute. Stay tuned. You want to say hi to the people?
Oh.
You want to say hi to the person?
What I was saying is that Michael doesn't know, but I'm hijacking the live stream. But you can hear me. But you can now, wherever you are. I mean, I'm okay with the chair. I won't turn you down. I wouldn't turn you down, my friend. Thank you.
One of the few times that Paul and I will be the same height.
Oh, it's a nice feature.
That's a feature.
Hi back.
That's a feature.
Hi back.
Can I get you a charcuterie?
Oh man, it'd be great. We should just be sitting here and be like,
Let's go. You want to get some food?
it is the end. How's it been going here?
Great. Yeah.
I mean, you got to set up. You're all
I got to
hooked up.
set up. It was nerve-wracking. This was nerve-wracking. You want me to bring this down so people can see our face?
We're good. You don't need to see that, Nacho. So you live streaming the whole time?
It's been just nonstop live stream. It's easier.
It's way easier. No start, no stop.
The way I start is like this. We're here at the Auto Media Marketplace booth, the Dealer Playbook Live with the More Than Cars Media Network. And oh my gosh, special guest, the founder of More Than Cars.
What's our ACAM?
That's mine.
Where's mine?
This is gonna be yours, or this one is you. That one's you.
Hey there.
He's here. He's here. He came at the right time, by the way. There's a charcuterie. What do you call that?
Charcuterie.
Okay.
I mean, I'll pretend it's not the only
Do
reason
you
I
want to
came.
come and say hi to the people?
And Marie's gonna get
Let's light
on
up
the
a
live
microphone.
stream. All right, which one? What are we? Number 3.
Number 3 is, I think that one.
This guy.
Yeah.
Okay, here you have the seat. I'm I'm gonna hold them.
I'm gonna pull down those audios until. Hi, AMJ.
Hello.
You guys have been rolling around the floor.
Rolling. Yes, we're sore. We're tired.
You
But
got a
we're
seat? Do you want to
hydrated.
pull in another seat?
I'm good.
I got 4 of them. Look at that.
I'm good.
This is the Wizard of Oz's
I'm good.
velvet.
Really
Yes.
is, right?
Look at this feature.
It matches my hotel room.
Here, you take this one with you.
It's a convertible seat. It's a convertible seat.
Right now, I just want to be like,
Right? I feel that.
Guys, I felt so detached, umbilically detached from you guys this show. I'm usually
it's so strange.
It has been
yesterday
very
was we
strange.
were running around the floor, but look at this. We got more than look at this. This is
Everyone's together.
this is my these are my persons.
It's beautiful.
Okay, I got to ask you because you've had what 9 million conversations.
About yeah.
What are
A
people
lot.
talking about? What's the sentiment at this one?
I think it's a combination. Well, we were just talking with Ryan Rohrman right before we came over here.
Yeah.
And he was talking about the 2 years ago, what people were talking about was like, how do I enhance my service experience? Like very basic level things.
Right.
And he said the depth of technical conversation people are having here is even blowing his mind. We have new acronyms.
What
we
are
have,
they?
EEAT. Eat.
What?
You know that one?
Eat. EEAT.
EEAT.
Like
2 E's.
elevate. What is it?
It's like experience.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The thing.
I've heard of the EEAT.
Eat.
I just can't remember what it stands for right
It's
now.
it's a GEO ranking
got
type
it.
thing.
Okay, got it.
But so I'm just hearing a lot of technical integration, and I think we're seeing more technical integration than we ever have in the industry, and starting to feel like we are keeping up in some ways, maybe even innovating across the ecosystem, but at the very least keeping up. People launching new products that are built on modern architecture that are able to start to plug into one another and layer on top of one another without all the historical legacy baggage we've had of not being able to move one thing to the next. The new players are building things to be able to move freely, which is what we need to do. It's what the rest of the world does.
I feel like we're asking more meaningful questions too. It's not just like
Yeah.
slap AI on it. It's like what do we do with the AI?
And what does it actually mean?
What does it actually
A
mean?
lot of those questions. A lot of another common theme when it comes to AI is how do we enhance our people? How do we use it to enhance our people, not replace our people? We were talking about this, in thinking about making the auto industry an industry that people fight to join, which is our vision more than cars. Have you ever heard of a dealer laying people off? Layoffs at the local dealership again.
Well,
Yeah. I mean, maybe in 2008, some BDCs. Aside from that,
Yeah.
it's a very secure place to build a career. And so it's fun, even with the AI integration, no one's talking about replacing positions. And this could be a really big part, I think, to move the industry forward to being a safe haven for people who want to build a career, because it's always going to be a human business. So some of that as well.
AMJ, what are you seeing?
Well, it's been a great show. It's been really busy.
Yeah.
And I think that, to Paul's point, there's a lot of conversations being had, and technology is moving so quickly. Business is evolving so quickly. And so, I've just seen everyone I talk to is having amazing conversations, and it's almost reached a point where you can't miss 1 year, right? Because you're so far behind. Things have evolved so much. And so it's, I think even in that case, driving business forward, right? Because people are having conversations because so much is changing.
Oh my gosh. Did this woman just make it so easy for me to plug a Soducon? You need to go right now to asoducon.com and get your ticket now. I'm telling you, the tickets now.
Early bird pricing right now.
I was going to say the tickets are cheaper now than they will ever be. The closer you get to that event, call it like an Uber demand surge.
And
okay?
let's layer another thing over that. When you get your ticket now, you also will be able to book a room in the event
In the
hotel,
main hotel.
which sells out every year. And the other hotels are great too. But if you can be in the event hotel, that's the place you want to be. The rooms are not expensive. We negotiated a huge discount on the room price. So you get a really nice room. I don't know what the price is, but it's under $200 usually.
Yeah, at 177, I think.
When I say we've actually legitimately created a problem for ourselves with a Soducon, we're selling out, guys. We're selling out a casino hotel, okay? And I'm pretty sure they're gonna push the fire code on us this year.
We've begged them to give us just about every room in the hotel.
Yeah.
And we've gotten like every room but like 10 rooms now.
But it
Yeah.
really goes into what you're saying. I love the vision that you're really bringing to the forefront, which is this industry is so great. It's an industry that people should feel like they have to fight to be a part of. And look at the speed of innovation that you're talking about, AMJ. Look at everything that you're hearing, the evolution of technology that you've heard on the floor as you've talked to dozens and dozens now of different companies who are really at the forefront of this push of innovation. To continue that conversation in a meaningful way, that's why I'm passionate about ASOTUCON, because the conversations get a lot deeper, a lot more tactical, and a lot more practical. What other critical words can we throw in?
I don't have a critical word, but it all happens faster. It all happens faster at a SoduCon, right? The barriers come down. You know, everybody's willing and ready to have that conversation, and so, you know,
It's been, it is our baby, and we've had this. We're in our 5th year, and it's really fun to hear. And I don't know why it's still surprising that people keep coming up to us and saying, like, I got that person to go. I'm bringing my team this year. And so we never really know what's going to happen, but so many people have just brought it up to us, just saying, by the way, I'm going to be there this year, or by the way, I'm bringing my team this year. It always surprises me a little bit, but this will be the biggest ASOTUCON ever.
yeah.
And I always tell people, when you walk in, it immediately feels like family, because we make so much content beforehand, so people get introduced to the other people in the community and the industry partners in the conversation.
Yeah.
So when they show up, there's not that whole, like that whole game where it's like, who are you and do I have to avoid you? Or like, people, you show up, everybody's hugging, everybody's
hugging.
talking, everybody's, what have you been doing? And no one feels like they have to hide from anybody.
Yeah.
And look, if you have sensory overload, we'll give you one of these. We don't have to hug you. We just want you in the same room as us.
Boy, you're jingling a lot.
I'm
Yeah, right.
jingle jangle.
How Italian are you getting?
Hey, you got to do the things, eh? ASOTUCON.com, please. For
Did we tell the
your
dates?
sake. We didn't tell the dates. When are the dates?
It's going to be May 12th through the 15th. Everyone will fly in on Tuesday, the 12th. We'll have a welcome reception that evening, and then we will be in session on Wednesday and Thursday, happy hours that night, and you can head home Thursday night or Friday, be refreshed for the week and the weekend.
I want to tell them a little bit more about what I think they should expect there. Are there exhibitors there, AMJ?
Yeah, we have a small exhibit floor. In fact, our exhibit hall is really the heartbeat of ASOTUCON. So we only have 25 booths that we allow, which gives you a great opportunity to have conversations with more dealers.
Can you speak specifically though about the regulations in place for exhibitors, because they're an important part of the conversation, but it is not. I want people to know what to expect. Like the vibe is not.
Yeah, it's a little different. So we do our expo hall a little differently. We actually don't want you to stay in the booth. So you will find me at ASOTUCON dragging folks out of the booth,
And
pushing
get out of
you
your
into
booth.
conversations. Yes, because we feel like you need to be engaging, you need to connect, and we encourage that. So, whether that's over a meal or whether that is over, a panel, anything like that. And then, the booth is your home base. That's the place where you can go and have, not only that additional real estate, your branding, but, have those home-based conversations.
And so what happens with the dealers at ASOTUCON is, I think one of the most beautiful things that I've witnessed over the years are watching relationships start, because everybody's, what are you doing? In dealerships, like, what are you doing? How are you engaging? And I believe, and I think everyone will agree with me, the most valuable thing you get out of events is never like an insight, because insights don't solve problems.
Right.
People solve problems. And when you make those relationships with the other like-minded people, and all of a sudden you have numbers, all of a sudden you start to get these little groups where you can text and ask a question to.
Yep.
It's fun to see over the years of ASOTUCON, the relationships that started there, and then those people do more together. They help each other more, and that environment with dealer to dealer is what is cultivated there. And it is not the biggest event. However, I think we have the most like-minded, like-hearted people that tend to be more human-centric in their approach to technology, but are still incredibly progressive. And when you get the people together that feel the same way, something happens. Like, this because you're an audio engineer. When you put one earbud in, the perceived volume is one way. When you put the other earbud in, the decibel level going into the ear is the same, but your perceived volume is much louder. Look at that, dragging that in. And so that's what it feels like at ASOTUCON. Like, you get both earbuds in, and all of a sudden
It's spatial.
it is spatial.
Oh.
Yeah. Speaking of spatial, it's an amazing space.
It is an amazing.
It is one of the
space.
most engaging and inspiring spaces I've ever been in a conference because everything, like you said, the show floor is the center, but we have
Heartbeat.
an amazing built out like concert venue screens and lighting that actually help make you feel inspired when you walk in the room. So like when you start that, when you walk in and you start looking up and around, it just really cultivates the ground for you to like think outside the box and be with other people who are really rooting for you to also develop something new.
I want to, just for those that, because I've been asked this
Get that.
48 million times. So how do you with the dealer playbook and the more than cars and the this and the that? Guys, the dealer playbook is part of the More Than Cars media network. This is what we do. And the reason I'm bringing this up, by the way, not because I like to say checkmate often, but here's something I got to say. The testament to what we're talking about here, why I'm passionate about it, is walking the halls, do you know have you seen how many booths are playing an Auto Collabs episode?
Well, that's a good point.
Like, because they, you say this, and I love this. I actually had this conversation with my son, Dallin, the other day about assuming the center. And we're not assuming the center because we desire to be famous. We're assuming the center because somebody had to move into the center to say, hey, everyone, rally round. We're having a conversation about moving this industry to this industry together.
Shake. It's like a shaker.
About moving this industry together. And so we divide and conquer. The More Than Cars team is roaming the halls, having very important conversations. I hunkered down here to have them through the dealer playbook from a different angle, but they're all feeding the same motivation, what you said earlier about this. Really, the sentiment is this is the greatest industry on planet Earth. You and I have been on airplanes to the other side of the world, hearing people's perspectives while enjoying a burger and hearing people's perspective.
Really the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hearing people's perspective about how this industry is moving nations forward. It's so important to us that we're in the middle of that conversation. But talk to me about what comes to your mind when you say assume the center?
Assume the center means you believe a thing, and that thing is connected to a lot of other things that are around you. And you're saying, with all the things I see going on, I'm going to put this belief in the middle of the conversation. And so when we say more than cars, love people more than you love cars, we're saying we're actually just going to assume that we know this is the most important thing about this entire industry. We're going to step in the middle of all the conversations on technology and operations and mergers and acquisition and marketing. And we're going to stand in the center and say, the people have to be at the center of all of these, or all of them break down.
Mhm.
So that's what I think of when I say assuming.
I love that. I love it. Well, guys, it is the end of the day here. We're at the iHeart Media Automotive and Auto Media Marketplace booth. And I got to finish the day with my family.
Yes.
Paul Daly. Oh, hold on. We're not done yet. You get in here right now. You get in here right now. Mike is hot.
Hot Mike. Here he comes.
Look at this. We got Paul J. Daly, founder of More Than Cars, Kyle Mouncier, partner at More Than Cars, Michael Cirillo, chief of staff of More Than Cars, AMJ, director of client success, client happiness, More Than Cars, the Dealer Playbook, part of the More Than Cars media network. Where is it? I got to cut in front of your face. This is what we do, guys. This is what we do. You've had a lot of conversations. Can you just give us your 30-second to 1 minute what stood out to you today?
I'm bullish on retail auto right now because of the energy that has been brought to this show. And if dealers and industry partners are connecting, doing business, trying to solve problems at the rate that I'm watching, listening to, and seeing, we're going to be fine this year, y'all. I think the SAR that was predicted I love all the JD Power people. I think the SAR that was predicted is fake news. I'm calling it right now.
Oh, tell us more. This is your cameraman. Preach.
That's my camera. So here's the thing. Basically, JD Power predicted a flat SAR year over year. But I think that some of that is reliant on market conditions. Some of that is reliant on the way that customers are feeling, consumer sentiment. Some of that is reliant on the supply available. But I think even more, it's reliant on how dealers and industry partners are making it easy for people to buy, sell, and trade vehicles and service those vehicles. And if what I've heard, what I've seen around this haul is true, then we're solving problems for customers at a rate that we've never seen before. So we're going to sell more cars and we're going to service more cars. We're just going to. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you. End of 2026, we're going to sell. We're going to outkick the coverage on the SAR.
And you know what I love? I don't know if you know you did this. You did fake news.
Did I fake news?
Fake news.
Did I? I fake newsed it?
Fake news.
I'm just saying it's fake news.
Fake news.
It's
not real.
Hey,
not real.
By the
You
way,
in the
did you guys
SAR.
did you see the guy walking around dressed like
I
I
that?
did.
I
What?
didn't get to
It
talk
was
to him.
okay.
I didn't get to talk to fake Trump,
was
but I
okay.
just did see him walking around like doing the.
He did the
Fake Trump.
Oh my gosh. Guys, I'm
How
so
are we
glad-
ending this day doing Trump impersonation? You know it's the end
because
of the day.
it's the end of day
It's
when
two
all three of us
or day
are
three or day
big
four.
There are I don't know how they're going to kick everyone out of this hall. There's so many
second
people.
day in a row.
There's 11 minutes left, and I'm
gonna
still
do
seeing
it.
people signing contracts. In
They're
the
gonna
back
do
right
it.
There. It's
They need
unbelievable.
to play closing
It's a
time.
thing.
Closing time. Da, da, da,
Yeah.
da, da.
Oh my gosh. This is look at what's happening right
Day
now.
in the life.
It's a day in the life.
Day in the life.
I'd like to say that our business
Michael,
meetings,
stand up.
Oh my gosh. Like, stand up.
This is how you know it's the end of the day. I'd like to say that our business meetings, like when we're conducting the day-to-day business of Northern Cars, isn't like that.
Does it feel like this?
It's terrible.
We
It's
got
exactly
Nathan
the same.
saying
Nathan's
other
in
things.
here. Oh,
It's
my
because we're having a
goodness.
blast. This is an industry that you should feel like you got to fight to be a part of because we're doing amazing things and we're going to be okay. Kyle Mountsier, Paul J. Daly, Michael Cirillo, More Than Cars, the Dealer Playbook here at NADA 2026. Guys, it's been a day. Thanks so much for being here all day with me. We're out.